we're here.
That's like our fourth intro now.
No, it's all good. Beachmob is finally here. Beachmob Goes Podcast. This is our start right here.
Yep.
So, are we going by names, or are you two got 13?
No, like
excuse me, I have an online presence.
Are you PB and Jammers?
I am PB and Jammers.
Also known
can I
as.
be Jerry
But that's
Moles?
your artist name, so that's fine.
I am Jamal, the artist.
The Armors.
The Armors,
Jamal the Armors.
formerly known as the Jammers. That's my name.
That's
Jammies?
I think we need to shorten that.
The artist formerly known as Jammers.
My name is Jamal, but online I go as PB and Jammers.
My name is
Hi.
Jeff.
Hi, Jamal. Also known
Hi,
as
Jamal.
Where can we find you on Twitter and Facebook?
/ TB and Jammers.
Cool.
Just a slash though.
Just
a slash.
Just
the
slash PB
slash.
and Jammers.
The
You'll find
slash scene.
No face.
Google will have
Hash
a crap.
brain.
But
There's
it'll
no
find
URL linked to him. He is a hidden artist.
Yep. Yep.
He's so
it. I draw
undercover.
titty.
He draws.
He
titties.
draws the
He draws
titties.
He draws damn
Good.
good titties.
He draws the titties. All right.
Cool. All right. My name is Shadrach. I don't have online presences that I like to share.
Oh my.
Oh.
That I like to share.
He frequents Grindr.
Fat
I
life.
don't know. G Willikers is what I go by on everything, or the nutrients.
Sweet.
That's true. The
Yep.
nut.
Yeah.
Hi,
nut.
Shadrach.
Yeah. A lot of people have been hit by the nut over this.
I am
Coming this summer.
Jesus Christ.
The nut. is-
I am and
Oh
I
my god,
work-
he said the
Last
last name.
name.
shit, we're going last.
Cut it.
Slide into this boy's DM.
Oh shit, boy.
Oh my god.
Why don't you give him your social security, huh?
Oh,
it's
okay,
actually,
yeah, so, actually, if you're gonna go on,
613.
Just call him
So-
the Dutch bro. Let's just.
yeah, just the Dutch. Just call me the Dutch.
The Dutch.
He's
Dutch
not even
oven.
Dutch.
The Dutch. Yes, man. This is a build up here.
You know, that's one thing I was always confused in the Beachmob. Your nickname is the one and only Dutch Bro, but Shadrach is also
I'm
Yeah.
also.
the one and only Dutch Bro
Well,
as
okay,
well. But
actually,
there's two of them. There's
so-
two Dutch Bros.
They've started calling me the Shadowlack. There. So.
I mean, they call
There you go. That's what. There
That's
we go.
tight.
That's me. Yeah.
it's the Shadowlack and the Graveslayer. That's
Yeah.
what our nicknames are
All
there.
right, cool.
Alright,
So
I can.
they can just call me the Slayer here. The Pussy Slayer, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah,
Who
right.
are you?
Not lately.
Oh shit!
God damn.
Shots fired.
Fucking
Um,
Christ.
That hurt.
That's why they call me the Nut. Sorry.
Hello, interwebs. My name is Zach. I do a lot of music stuff.
Notice that he said interwebs and not
That's-
internet, like
yeah.
a normal person.
Like, you know, the George W. Bush.
If you notice, I spoiled my full name like I spoiled the bachelor party.
That's an inside joke that nobody listening is going to get to.
But
so
they
it's not
will
funny
get it.
to
They
them.
will get it.
will.
This is what this is for.
Exactly.
To explain.
It's gonna be a
All will
build-up.
be revealed at a later time.
It's still going to be funny due to the fact that you still don't spoil a bachelor party ever.
It's not funny.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's still,
a little
I
bit.
still- I didn't
Anyways,
think about that.
I go by
Thanks, Chad.
TubaGod13 sarcastically, but it's kind of at the same time my tag, so swag.
My name's Anthony. I don't have an online presence, or I'm not going to share it. And who are you?
That's because you get no.
I got my own mic over here. I'm Jerry, or I guess maybe Oatsmeal or Jerrykins.
Ooh,
and
he's
Jerry
incorporating the
and
Jerry.
I'm just here.
No, we're going to call him
I'm just-
Jerry Bear. It's going to stay
Or
Jerry
Jerry
Bear.
Bear, that's okay.
And Jer Bear was your original
All the
nickname,
above.
but
Jerry Bear is the original nickname, but my online name would be Oatsmeal.
yeah. Yeah. So then, my name is Cody. I go by CT. Yeah. So that's all of us.
We're Beach Mob.
That's all.
We are the family.
Alright. First topic, we're talking about Death Note.
Oh, yeah, he's
Okay.
been building up
We
for
got
this.
some shit
Okay.
to say about this movie.
I got some shit to say.
I don't
about
know shit about
I don't know
this.
shit about
I
it.
Alright.
don't know dick about that.
Okay, so
You
look.
can talk about that.
All right.
About Death Note.
Well,
First off,
Okay, first of all,
you guys seen, the anime?
the anime.
Yes,
we
I've
actually,
seen the
Janelle and
anime.
she just watched it, all of it, like
Okay.
a couple weeks ago.
So you know how generally the story is the main focus, and it's
Yeah.
like kind of the puzzle pieces all fitting together type
Yeah,
thing.
you're like, oh wow.
So I've
that's
read about
L?
16 reviews on the new movie, and the best thing that any of them have said was the gore is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only good thing that came out of that movie. But other than that, he's just a little whiny bastard who doesn't really do anything and reveals his identity to the one person he probably shouldn't have right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken,
I'm a horn dog, and I'm gonna reveal it to you so I can get some puss.
now the movie was like a real life like
Yeah, it's
actual live action. Okay, that's always my biggest fear anytime going into an anime movie.
So,
Live
okay,
actions
is
are
this-
scary to try
Was
to
this
attempt.
kind of like the last Airbender?
It was like DBZ Evolution.
Oh, yeah.
God, okay.
Oh my
Also,
god.
I will say the
Ong.
dude who played Ryuk was pretty good.
Yes, okay, so he was the shining light in that whole movie. Also, the guy who played L, I think he did a fine
Okay,
job, not
can-
fantastic.
Can I just ask, why was L black?
Because of racial diversity.
Yeah,
Diversity,
But
that's it.
L dies, so
Yes.
it's not helping the whole black
Yeah.
people die in a movie thing.
Well, not a
all
real
black
good
people.
plate.
Usually, you can only have one black person in any given series, and so if you have two, usually the first one that has appeared dies off,
Which
and
is
then they
L.
get replaced.
But he doesn't get replaced. That's
It's the only
Oh,
black
that's
guy
being
in that
racist.
whole movie,
Spoilers,
guys.
L dies.
What?
Wait,
I
does
haven't
he?
seen
That's
it.
racist.
Yes.
That's racist!
Are we talking about the anime?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
yeah, he dies. I mean, if you haven't seen that, I don't know, Death Note
good
came out
anime.
in
Yeah.
fucking
Do we need to have a
2000
spoilers,
BC?
Also,
I don't
did,
know.
warning?
did
after?
L even die?
Are you talking about
in
that's
the-
such an old movie? I feel like this.
No,
should be-
not the movie. The anime.
Wait, what
animation.
movie?
No, we're not
Death
talking about
Note.
it.
Didn't it just come out?
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
but
did,
Death Note, the show is.
I finished it on shift tonight.
So
actually.
L dying is not a spoiler.
No, that's why it's funny. I should
Jesus
spoil
Christ.
alerts on something that's obviously
It is
not
for
a
me.
spoiler.
I haven't seen it.
You
we haven't
need
seen
to
it
watch
either.
You
it.
probably
It's
weren't
fine.
gonna bother watching it.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
That's
not.
not true. I watched Rosario.
Tell me, what was the
Honestly-
last anime you watched?
you don't want to listen
Rosario
to
and Vampire.
Not Kill Yamada's first time.
Okay, how long ago was that?
I honestly
Like-
thought he said Yamcha's first time, but that
like
was
3 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of
doesn't count.
panties.
I totally forgot about Yamada's first time.
Is that how you say it, Yamada?
It's Yamada.
God damn it.
God damn
Zindaffle.
Okay, does Light even die in the?
I didn't finish the movie, so I don't know.
Okay.
you rage quit
In
on the
the
movie.
anime, he does.
The very end, he Light reveals like this whole plot that he had set out, and I'm like, where was this the whole movie? Like there was nothing leading up to this. He was cunning at the very end. That's it. He was stupid the rest of the movie.
Yeah, in the series, Light was
So-
kind of.
Let's check what the internet has to say about the new Death Note. The very first thing that comes up is the internet roasts Death Note.
The
The very first thing.
What the fuck is the
I mean,
internet?
I've already seen like 100 memes, so
Yeah. If something gets memed in the first 6 hours of its release, it's pretty bad.
Oh, so like Mass Effect and
Was there any big names casted in it?
well, Mass
Yeah,
Effect Andromeda was pretty bad for a Mass Effect game.
I'm very heartbroken about that.
It's a fine
Let's
standalone
not
game,
go
but it's
into
not a
that.
good Mass Effect.
Definitely
No, it was not a good
Um,
Mass Effect game.
No, so Ryuk
Yeah.
is what's his name?
I can't remember. He was in Spider-Man. I remember
Dafoe?
that.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe. Willem
Oh.
Dafoe. And his voice, it's like a mixture of gravel and honey. It's perfect. It's just
It sounded just like Ryuk, honestly.
yeah,
Hello. Just like that.
just like that.
Just like that.
That was so gravelly, like.
So honey.
Just brown rice.
Beachmob products meal prep.
There we
Yeah.
go. Okay.
It's basically I was trying to do a basic meal prep. I ran out of chicken, so it was like.
Wow, way to
Better
silence your
call.
phone there, Jerry.
Uh-oh, busted.
Fucking.
Hey, this is even better though,
Better be
because now I can take the mic over myself.
Why is it meal prep has to be the hardest thing for me to do if I want to lose weight?
To really be honest, the meal prep at first, like the first time I did it, took like, oh my god, Zach.
So me and Zach are sharing a mic. That's awful.
Oh my god.
I did not burp. Thank you. They're lying. There's no video. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah,
There is a video right
there
there.
is audio and video evidence of that burp.
Yeah, it's-
But no, like when it comes to meal prep, probably the hardest thing is maybe like the first week. Other than that, when you kind of get a rhythm of it, you kind of figure out a way to cheat it and get it through.
I feel like 3 weeks, because the first week is kind of like oh wow, I can do this, and then the second week is really a test of do I want to keep doing
Yeah.
it, and the third week is where you start building the habit.
Well, like if
I
you
think.
remember, I was on the chicken and rice. I think it was like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then that first week of school, I was like doing both ends of the shift. We were still having football practice.
Could you please stop
Oh,
burping?
wow.
Thank you.
Was it Shad burping the whole time?
No, it wasn't Shad.
All right, so here's my opinion on meal prep. I don't really have to do it because I just bring stuff that I can eat into the house as snacks, and then I always keep a meal that I can eat that's healthy in the fridge and ready to cook. So I don't really do meal prep. I just have a meal like
Prepared.
I can make a meal.
I feel like one of the things that really fucks me up is working graveyards because when I work till 5 o'clock in the morning, all I do is just want to keep snacking all night. You get to that boredom, you get to that tire point where you're just like, oh, well, eating's going to kind of keep me awake for a bit. Mm-hmm. So my problem is I still go to bed like 15 minutes, like I'll eat and then 15 minutes later go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it's supposed to be like an hour or two suggested before you're actually supposed to stop eating and then go to bed. So that's one of my
nobody really
issues.
anticipated graveyard. Here's meal prep for graveyard people, because even then
They're like,
I'm
I don't
sure it's
know.
out there.
I have a friend that's doing like a metabolism diet. So when they first wake up, they go ahead and eat, but they only eat for about 8 hours of the entire day, and then they stop at a certain point.
fasting.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that. For
it's
a while.
actually
I
really
actually do that right
successful.
now. It works pretty good. I lost like 5 pounds so far.
It's
Because it trains your body to only eat during a certain amount of time.
it's the word fasting that becomes scary.
See, I did the same thing. I just take a thermogenic, so it's like I take, I just have a pill for that.
See, I have the opposite problem. I have to eat all the time, otherwise I'll start dying.
But
Yes.
if you just eat a lot of food within a small amount of time, then your body gets used to it and it kind of learns to eat off the reserve.
Well, it
I
also
can't do
changes,
that.
but
Well,
it
'cause I
also
have-
changes with the type of food that you're eating too. Because
True.
if you go for more short fuel like carbohydrates, sugar, then it's gonna burn fast. But if you go for something that takes a long time, we'd say the same thing about cross country runners and track runners as to like what types of food should they eat before a race. How the whole thing about carb loading before a race. It's just it really depends on the same metabolizers because Shad, myself, and Zach are all three mega different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a thyroid problem, so I literally have to eat
Yes, you
constantly.
do.
Like,
Not negotiable. You
Yeah.
do.
I don't have
on
an opinion
the
food.
on the thing about
I-
eating some carbohydrates before running,
I
I found that if I don't eat at least something before I run, I'll get very violently ill before or after I start running.
When we were doing Buff Buddies, with
Oh shit! He name drop. Name drop.
Hashtag Bush Buddies. We have a TV show and a t-shirt.
You stole that from Rooster Teeth. Just letting you.
no, we didn't steal
Trademark.
it. Yeah, we did. Buff Buddies Reading. But when we were doing that,
What?
there was a couple days that were pretty hard.
Hashtag
Where
spam.
some
That
of us
was
didn't eat
that was a
before.
workout
Hashtag
routine
ad.
in
Yeah.
case anyone didn't know that.
Yeah.
hashtag sponsored.
Zach, did you? When did you eat? Like before workouts, after workouts? What
It was always before.
You always ate right before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
What?
okay, so outside of our
Andrew's
apartment
dripping in the puss.
where we're doing this,
Oh my god.
there are 8 feral kittens.
Yeah, you might want
And-
to put that in front of the GoPro so
Yeah.
that we could see.
There are 8 feral kittens, and they all just congregated on the steps. They do that sometimes. One of them is like a little tiny white cream-colored one, and is very, very, very lovable.
Oh my.
I don't like the way that lovable one.
Do you guys prefer cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Cats.
Dogs.
Dogs.
Fight me IRL.
I
Dogs.
love cats.
Dogs.
Cats.
Cat, I like
Like-
other people's cats.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're
Other
evil.
people's
I like
cats prefer,
cats.
dogs,
I'm
but-
sorry,
Oh, yeah.
I cannot do cat claws. The fact those no, can't do it. Those motherfuckers, the way they retract and dig into you is scary as hell.
I like
see if
kitties.
all cats were like dogs, then the world would be a better place.
Then you just get a dog.
But what if
Well,
all dogs
yeah,
were like
but-
cats?
It's the difference.
But also, dogs are big, lovable sweethearts, and they just like want nothing but your love, and it's
So are
amazing.
kitties.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
No, not Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is a horrible.
Okay, let's talk about Pokemon Go.
All right, talking
Oh,
about
shit.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I think
all right.
Daddy needs to turn up the
So here-
microphone for this one.
This is why Niantic has the worst customer relations
I
of
will
any
agree,
company
damn straight.
that I have ever had any interaction with in years.
Zach's girlfriend has a knife.
Pokemon Go. Okay, Pokemon Go when it first came out, it was cool. There wasn't a
Brilliant.
speed restriction. They didn't have stupid restrictions on how many Pokemon you can catch a day, how many stops you can get a day. But since they added all that, it's just a way for them to get money from you. That's all they want.
It's more microtransactions.
That's all they want
Well,
is money.
like how bad were the connections like the first weekend? Because I remember Anthony and I
You
tried
can't-
to hunt on
but
like
you
the
can't.
first weekend it came
You can't
out.
predict server load though.
Oh,
The
yeah.
one thing that really upset me about the game is because I'm a completionist. So I was working on literally a live dex. I'm talking every evolution of every Pokemon. So I had to collect a lot. However, There are literally region-specific Pokemon to each country.
You can only
That
catch
is
Yeah,
the
they're
bullshit.
expecting you to
eggs,
fucking
get 'em in
travel the
eggs.
whole world.
The problem with that is, it was marketed as an everyman Pokemon game that everybody can play. Not everybody can travel to fucking China. Like we can't.
Unless
They literally had to sponsor people in order for them to fly out there to complete a dex.
Unless
you had to be
get
paid
those
for it.
10-kilometer eggs, and then you could get the cross-regional
Or cheat it.
Pokemon.
Yeah, good luck.
which by the way is broken. It's actually just broken.
Is it broken?
Yep.
How's it
The eggs
broken?
never worked.
They don't. So the eggs didn't work, and they never could hatch them.
Really?
It was like negative percentage or some bullshit like
Huh.
that. Yeah, it was. They fucked it up basically.
You couldn't hatch the eggs.
You couldn't hatch the cross regional ones.
Okay.
Oh,
it
they're
was like-
region locked?
Yeah, the region locked ones
whole
were
game was
so
broken.
ridiculously, almost impossible. I mean, you could technically do it, but no one's ever gonna do it like an 8 millionth of a percent.
Here's my question:
Like,
what else has Niantic done? Because I've literally only heard of this company.
They've done,
They have
Ingress.
another game that's exactly like Pokemon
Yeah, they
Go.
had
It is the
Ingress
same.
for a
So you know
while.
where all the
Yeah.
and then
Pokestops
they
come
turned
from?
into Pokemon.
those are Ingress.
Ingress used those portals that they had, and they turned them into Pokestops instead. So basically, they just reskinned their other game, and they added Pokemon. That's pretty much all they did. That's the only other game. I
Yeah,
think
see,
they
to
made.
me, that kind of takes away like the whole premise of Pokemon. Like people like us who've been playing it for like 20 years growing
Yeah.
up, like
like
the fact that this
It was just
this
a
company
money grab.
out of
They just
nowhere.
wanted to slap Pokemon onto a
Well,
phone
it was
game.
Exactly,
it was
yeah,
a
it's just a
cool-
skin.
It was a really cool idea.
Oh, yeah.
Go travel, go pick Pokemon, and then you got them, and then you're like, okay, now.
I
what?
remember how fucking hyped I was.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
everybody.
I mean,
The
did you guys
commercials
check
made it
out the
amazing.
Sundial Bridge.
Well,
That
also,
place was like
you
a
can do that.
freaking-
The first
Like
weekend of
2 a.m.,
Pokemon Go
just like
was the
everywhere.
most revitalized I've seen this community since I've moved
so
here.
cool.
Oh,
It
people
was,
are hugging,
you
kissing,
know, thousands of people.
children are crying,
Well,
tears
like
of
the
joy.
Sundial Bridge was like
look
the
at
coolest place
Nidoran!
ever.
Yeah, exactly.
So as a reference in our area, we actually have in this area of our town, we actually kind of have a lot of open outdoor parks and areas. And one of them
And
is the
bums.
Sundial Bridge, which
And
goes over the
coke
Sacramento
addicts.
River.
Lots of
You
homeless.
Google it
And
and find out
heroin
what
addicts
town we're
too.
in. It's pretty easy.
yeah. So it really. What kind of shit are we trying to keep secret here?
I mean,
We're not keeping anything.
That's what I
Other than
fucking
our
thought.
name.
Redding, California.
My address is.
We live where Bethel lives.
111.
111.
But it.
A 1255.
The
Liberty
amount of
Street,
people that were
that's my
out and
address.
about was amazing, but however, the amount of car accidents that kept happening were fucking retarded. But that's only because people are idiots.
That is true.
Okay, sorry, that wasn't politically correct to call people fucking retarded, but honestly, I don't care right now.
Like,
Could you please not say retard?
like
Say fucking
the
We're just
okay.
gonna have to, like,
One of the
say
main problems I
dumbass.
have with
just-
Pokemon Go is the speed restriction. Because if you
Yeah.
ride your bike too fast, things will stop
Remember
spawning.
when we were trying to go
It's
around-
because
Ride
people
bikes
ruined
in
it.
the game.
Yes, yes.
So
we
I
tried
don't see
to
the problem
cheat.
with that.
Well, we tried
Yeah,
to
exactly.
It
cheat.
makes no sense.
Anthony and I literally
No,
were-
that first week you could actually go in cars, but after that first week they canceled
Oh
that
my
and they would.
God.
Then
No,
they
that was
lifted the
that was like a
restriction.
month or two after.
It was a month.
Yeah, it was like a month or
while.
two.
Yeah, it took a
were,
while.
like, probably the first weekend, Anthony and I were in my car going around Shasta College after security left because they said they didn't care after was it like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And basically we drove to every Pokestop around the campus.
Like 20 times.
I think it was even freakier as we weren't the only car there.
No, no.
No, there was
There
lots
was
of.
like
There was a
four or
lot of
five.
those times like when it
Yeah.
first came out, you go somewhere and you're like, Pokemon Go. And they're
I
like,
think we still
New
actually
Year's
saw
was-
a group today.
New Year's was really weird because people were stopped, and then you saw the Pokemon Go players like
Yeah.
in packs.
Yeah.
And also another problem with Pokemon Go is the fact that people who really want to cheat will never be stopped by Niantic because they've taken no real measures to either promote
your
not
account
cheating.
might get banned. We'll just
Like,
make a new one.
yeah, just make a new one and level
Yeah.
it immediately, instantly. There's a way, like people have ways to get to level 40 in 10 minutes type thing, and obviously they're going to be banned because that's easy to spot. But when you hide it, there's no way they'll ever be to stop cheating. And in a game where cheaters are rewarded and people who play for real are punished, that's just pretty bad,
It's-
Yeah.
I'll come out right here and say I cheated for like a month.
You did.
Just cause, yeah.
cheated, and then I stopped playing with you.
How?
You just.
on the
Well,
Alright.
Jamal and I, we downloaded it on our computers.
I had it on my
That's
computer.
what he did.
I did
geotracking.
it too, and then I just spoofed the locations and pretty much.
But see,
that's all
I
you
just
have
went
to
to
do.
the Sundial Bridge.
So then
that's
you could
all I
say
did.
this in China. And
Well,
You
no,
could.
You
It was
shouldn't do
hard.
that. You shouldn't do that because
Yeah.
that would have got you banned. You want to stay within a 10-mile radius because then you can say, well, the tracker's just off.
Well, and then the other way that you cheated. Well, you cheated mainly because you're
My phone fucking sucked.
Dude, okay. So a lot of the cheaters here, so there's this guy. I think he was the first person in California, Northern California, to get to 40. This guy we know, Hank. And he says a lot of people that cheat here, they have an emulator of a really crappy phone on their computer, download the app or whatnot, and just skip around really quickly and say, my geo-tracking is awful, so that's why I walked 6,000 kilometers in 4 days or whatever that it has.
Yeah, I think I could walk 6,000 kilometers.
Okay, but that's you mountain climb, you work.
What I did was I stayed in a really Pokestop dense area, and people would drop those things that would attract people, and I just hit those, and it would be like, that's believable. It's believable to be able to just go around there. But since we're on the topic of Pokemon, what do you guys think about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon coming out?
Hype.
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't like the
does
first
anybody
two.
here actually play?
I actually just
played
started a
Sun
new
and
game.
Moon.
I
Sun.
got all.
Well,
the-
no,
No. Competitively
Train.
play?
no.
No,
I
I
have
couldn't get
competitive
into it.
level Pokemon.
I can't
but
even
don't
beat the battle
competitively
tree.
play.
Like IVs and EVs and trained and everything?
Yeah, I've done all that.
Okay.
I just don't actually fight
So-
people with them.
In that regard,
afraid to get my
Sun
butt
and
kicked.
Ultra Sun and Moon aren't going to bring anything new to the table at all. No new Pokemon, no new anything, because even new forms don't matter because you can't use them because they're all legendary.
Legendary.
There's the the Dawn version of Lycanroc now.
That's
Not Dawn, it's Dusk. The Dusk version of Lycanroc.
cool. Pokemon's
It's
garbage.
bullshit, that's what it is.
You can get cool new hairstyles for your characters.
Hairstyles are
Hairstyles.
garbage.
You can get an anal bead for them too.
Oh God.
Oh,
What the
What is
fuck?
this game rated?
okay. There's you can get an accessory that's a string of Pokeballs that looks like anal beads.
Oh my.
That's
Lord.
actually
Might
what
as
I
well
was
put furry
referencing.
tails in there while you're at it
Okay,
too.
But
Oh,
here's my
furries.
thing
You can get
about
cat ears.
Sun and Moon.
God damn it.
If it comes to the Switch, though,
Oh man,
that's gonna be a game changer.
Dude, if
10
there
out
was
of 10
a big
will get a
RPG
Switch
on the Switch,
tomorrow.
I probably would get a Switch for that.
Yeah,
Pokemon World or whatever it's being called, a supposed mashup of every single region all playable at the same time. That's supposedly coming out.
That's what we've wanted for years.
It's
though.
supposedly
I mean,
Well, everybody's
it's
done
working.
That's just been rumored for years, hasn't it? They used to be called Pokemon Rainbow or something.
the guy who did the
Where's that weird
the
MMO,
the
too?
like dev tech on the Switch when it came out. They're like, we're working on a Pokemon masterpiece, and he's like, we want to combine all the regions. He didn't
Yeah,
give any
that's just
specifics,
setting me
but,
up
like,
for I'm going to be disappointed. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pretend
Absolutely.
it's not going to be a
No
good game.
Man's Sky.
I have a feeling that it's going to be something like Battle Stadium, and it's just going to be like, yeah, now you're in Sinnoh, now you're in Unova,
yeah.
and it's just
No,
the
it's
stadium.
No
You only
Man's
get a
Sky.
single
Oh,
stadium.
how,
That would be the
how it's just
problem
like
with,
stages
like,
where you just progress.
Exactly.
completely
Exactly.
open world, not open world, but completely all the maps Pokemon games is how would you regulate levels? Because you're going to hit the 100 cap in the first 2 regions.
I think maybe what
and
they
then
could
is
do
everybody just going to be level 100?
is maybe you can't
Well-
take through Pokemon from the previous region until you get to all the gyms or something like that.
Or what if you did the same thing like Ash did, where
You start
went to
over.
another region, you had to turn in your Pokemon.
Right,
And
until you get
had
to
different-
a bad
you
guy.
have
Except your
different
Pikachu. You can
Except
keep your
for
level
Pikachu.
1,000 Pikachu.
well,
That
that's
somehow
Pikachu
seems
still
to
got his
regress
ass
and
kicked.
level every single time. He
well,
goes
that's
to
the
a
thing that
different
they talked
region.
about is increasing the level cap of Pokemon, because that's something that's been, competitively wise, it's never mattered. Level 50 is where you stop. That's where everything is played at. But in terms of the casual game, level 100 has always been that milestone. I mean, it's super fucking easy to hit, but talking of increasing it is interesting. I'm not sure whether what it would do.
Well,
Yeah,
wouldn't it change with the competitive community anyways?
No.
No, because they would lock it at 50.
No, they lock it at
anyways,
50.
So.
Yeah, competitive always goes to 50.
Have you ever played hard mode? I think it was in Gold or Soul Silver and Heart Gold, where you can turn on hard mode with a key that you get, and basically all of the players are like the same level as you. I feel like if you just slowed down the leveling progress, like and make it harder to raise your Pokemon a level.
But see,
And then-
the problem with that is most people like their Pokemon evolving. Most of them like getting new moves.
Accessibility.
So if you slow that down, people are going to be like, well, I don't want to play this.
Exactly. Or they're going to transfer Pokemon from older generations where you can get those
Yeah.
moves earlier, and they're going to fuck up the rest of the game.
Another problem that they have is generation-specific abilities and moves that don't continue on to new generations.
Like what was it, Wonder Guard? Yeah.
Well, that's just
That's
a
only one
stupid
Pokemon.
ability. And it's one Pokemon, it's not competitive.
Well, there was another one that I can't remember what it is. But
Oh, yeah, its dream ability could be Wonder Guard.
yeah.
And those things like that are something that, like, for instance, throughout its whole everything, Gengar has always had Levitate, and then now it doesn't.
Really?
Yes. In Generation 7, Gengar does not have Levitate.
I mean, it makes sense because he's standing.
It's
but
specifically because they needed a way to address the competitive community, basically banning Gengar, right? Or, Gengar, effectively. And so they
its
needed...
Mega Form doesn't have Levitate.
It doesn't have Levitate.
Yeah.
But, so, a lot of time you use the other form, the earlier one, to check certain Pokemon. You don't need to Mega Evolve immediately. And before Gengarite existed, you didn't have Mega Evolutions. And Earthquake is the only real way to kill it now. Before you didn't have it. You didn't have a way to really mess with a poison ghost type, except outside of ghost and dark type moves.
Well,
they didn't have
Psychic. Psychic would be ×4.
No, it's not.
Well,
No, it's not time.
No, it's
because
not.
Ghost is
Psychic
super
is
effective
weak.
to Psychic.
I thought Psychic was super effective
It's
on Ghost.
neutral.
Other
So
way around.
Psychic is
What are people afraid
neutral
of?
to Ghost.
Ghost, bugs, in the dark. That's why those are all super effective against Psychic.
Psychic is neutral against Ghost, but because it had poison, you could use it. If you get super effective if you use it.
It's not very effective against Ghost, and it's super effective against poison, so it's neutral.
I don't know. Whenever I've played Pokemon, it's usually I've used Psychic because I was using Mewtwo against like Agatha, and it's always gotten super effective.
Again, generation changes. That's type effective. The type effectiveness chart has changed so much over the
Yeah,
years.
then again, they might have updated Ghosts past like Generation 4 because I really didn't pay attention to it after like Emerald and all that.
Yeah.
So what is the best Pokemon that you guys have ever best?
Psychic is neutral on Ghost.
Mega Salamence.
I just googled it. Psychic is neutral on Ghost.
Thank you.
Mega Salamence.
Really?
The best Pokemon competitively in terms of just straight up goodness.
Mega
about
Medicham
Pachirisu?
with pure power doubles its attack.
Still garbage.
Not if you teach it a good moveset.
Still garbage, man.
Or there's Mega
it doesn't
Gardevoir.
check anything in the meta.
Mega Gardevoir
Is fine. Is
has
totally fine.
All right.
like a max cap attack
no,
of
it's cool.
500.
No. We're gonna establish the best Pokemon here right now.
guys,
You shut up.
what about
You
Pachirisu?
shut up right now.
What about
Ma-
Pachirisu?
Establishing the best Pokemon right now, motherfucking Lucario.
Pachycephalosaurus.
You can say that, but it doesn't make it true.
Motherfucking
You can
Lucario.
say that as much as you want, but it does not make it
Lucario,
true.
best Pokemon in A.
You just like it because it has a bone.
Oh, Andrew
Andrew
likes
likes
anything
boners.
with a bone.
Mega Gardevoir is
This
the
a
best
fucking
Pokemon
fight.
ever.
This is a fight. I'd
Psychic
take down your Mega
Fairy.
Gardevoir
It
with a
seems
fucking
like we're
steel
about to
move off of
fight.
Lucario.
I could just teach Gardevoir flamethrower.
battle.
Honestly,
Speed
I don't
win.
know any of these Pokemon.
No, Mega Lucario loses
so
the speed
out of
tie.
I don't give a shit.
I'm sorry, Mega Lucario loses the speed tie there.
I don't give a shit.
And then after that, I was just like,
I played Leaf Green, Fire Red, but those are the newest
I
ones.
played all of
Leaf
them.
Green, Fire Red, and then I found Pearl on a bus trip to Seattle. It was a band trip. And I found it between the seats. I'm like, oh, this is fine now. But that's it. I haven't played anything else since then.
Yeah.
I
Player-wise, was
really
playing
want-
Emerald.
I didn't know that there were Mega Pokemon.
You didn't know about Megas?
Yeah.
Did you know Fairy type is a
later
thing?
on.
It's the cheap.
Did you know Fairy type is a thing?
Fairy, I think I've heard that.
Fairy type,
but I
yeah,
don't
it's
know
like
a
super
single
effective
fairy
against
type.
That was introduced in X and Y.
You do? It's called Clefairy.
Yeah, we have. I didn't watch.
Yeah.
The funny thing is they made fairy types to be super effective against dragon. Everybody was like, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
Well, because Dragon only has 2 weaknesses. They needed another weakness.
It did, but then they gave fairy type the most awkward weaknesses ever: poison and steel.
Well,
what the fuck?
What are
That-
poison and steel effective against? That grass.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the fact that like when they introduced fairy types, they gave fairy types like an interesting view where it's like its weakness is poison and steel, but it's super effective to dragon.
And
So
isn't
it's like
fire not very effective against fairy?
Yes.
Like why?
That's
That's just a random.
It's a
thing.
lore.
It's
No.
dragon.
That's a
It's
real world
dragon.
lore thing. So fairies in real world lore get trapped by iron. So that's why the steel. They don't have iron types, So that's why it's steel. I mean, if you've ever watched fucking Captain or Hook or whatnot, she gets trapped in the little
Tinkerbell, yeah.
Tinkerbell gets trapped in the little thing because that's what it always
What
has
about
been.
poison?
Fire can't burn them. Fairies can't get burned by fire. That's like a.
I also think they just gave him the most shit moves too. Like, there's not very good
Moonblast?
fairy type.
Moonblast,
I've
Dazzling
never
Gleam.
gotten killed by a Moonblast.
That's
Okay,
the
first
same
off,
effective as psychic.
We gotta be talking. We have to separate competitive level play to casual level play because
Yeah,
there's
'cause I'm a casual
huge
motherfucker.
difference. Casually, fairies are whatever, but competitively they're incredibly powerful. Klefki used to be one of the most powerful Pokemon in the meta because it was Steel Fairy. It had that poison resistance, has the steel resistance. It's fucking ridiculous.
And then
it
they
had
added
Prankster.
Salazzle with the ability to poison
Steel
steel
types.
types.
Salazzle is it's really, really good in OU tier right now. It's got a really good speed stat, incredibly high special, really good stab moves, but it's really, really, really
Wait.
checked by a lot of ground.
Is Salazzle the one that can only evolve if it's a female?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The
That
poison, the fire
sucked to get.
It's because it's only a 12.5% of getting a female.
Yeah, that's
It's super
sucked.
rare.
I got one the first time, but I didn't know it was only female that you could get.
Yeah.
And I got a male instead, and I'm like,
Me too. I tried leveling up the male. It didn't evolve. I Googled it, and I was like, okay,
fuck you.
I'm upset.
No,
Yeah.
what's funny is when they started introducing like the different types of evolution, like the freaking Inkay, it has to evolve by
You
holding the
turn it
DS upside down.
Yeah. Dude, I've had so many stupid people get so mad, be like, why does, Curlia only evolve into Gallade when it's a male or whatever?
God damn it, Jerry.
And, people get so mad because they're imposing gender roles in Pokemon, and you know what? It's fucking Pokemon. Who cares?
It's a game.
Are you
It
saying
really
that
doesn't matter.
Nido? Are you saying that Nido King and Nido Queen are sexist then?
What about Jinx being racist? That's a black woman.
See that?
She's
that
purple
just-
now.
It's kind of blatant.
Yeah, she's
It's a
purple.
little
She's
blatant,
purple.
though. It's a little
I mean,
mean,
they're saying it was black.
It's also historical too.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, it's like the whole Japanese.
What?
Yeah, I mean, look at Mr. Popo. Okay,
Mr. Popo.
Well, look at Mr. Popo's stool.
Oh my.
On a side note of me just starting a new game of Sun, I got a modest Litten.
That's pretty modest.
Oh, by the way,
Uh-oh.
Incineroar
We're in
has the worst possible animation for special attack moves. He pelvic thrusts.
He is a very.
He literally goes and like
I
the flamethrower comes out.
also, okay. So when they first announced him, I saw Litten and I was like, "Your third stage is going to be 2 feet. Watch." They showed
Yeah.
the second form. It's like second evolution, and it was still on all fours. I'm like,
It's still gonna
third's
be
going to be standing up. Just watch. And then Incineroar came out. I'm like, you look fucking stupid. If they had kept like the tiger thing, but kept him on all fours, it would have looked so much better.
I totally, honestly thought when they released Poplio, I thought it was going to be like a strong arm type Pokemon, like the way it was, because it's like circus.
Oh, instead of the
and then
aria?
Instead of like the singing like type thing, I totally thought it was going to be a strong arm type Pokemon.
Or a circus clown.
Yeah, like something like that to do with the circus. But then
Turned into a mermaid.
You know,
I mean, she's awesome.
It still kind of sucks because Litten or whatever it's Incineroar's not a fighting type, but it still looks like a fighting
luchador.
type.
it's
Okay.
a dark type.
I gotta say, I think one of the things that's been irritating me lately in like the newest Pokemon is whoever your rival is gets the Pokemon that's weak to the starter you get now.
But there's always another trainer who gets a Pokemon that is strong against yours.
Yes, but I don't
Because you
know.
don't have rivals anymore.
What's
That's
cool
the
is
whole
that
point.
what's cool is that they started putting out the experience share now early in the game to where you can start spreading it across your team because the levels across the entire game have gone up. Like by the time you get to the Elite Four, it's all level 60. Back when you play Leaf Green and Fire Red, it's like level 55, but your second highest but your highest evolution on your team is
Well,
probably like level 47.
You had to use your experience share wisely. You had to give it to certain Pokemon you wanted to level up.
Now the EXP all exists. Well, I mean, sorry, it's still called the experience share, but
What you doing
it's
over
the same
there,
thing as
Cody?
what was the EXP all.
I don't know. I feel like they took out some of the ability to like make Pokemon harder that way.
He knows
I think
next to
Sun and
nothing
Moon,
about
actually, the
Pokemon.
first time I played through, I thought it was
no
more
shit.
difficult than all the other ones so far.
It's Sun and Moon, I have to say, has the most cringeworthy moment of any Pokemon game of all time.
god! Even worse than the
Oh
fireworks.
my
Even
God.
worse. Even worse.
Even
So,
worse.
Even worse.
It's when what's her name?
Lily.
Lily?
She's going across a bridge, and she is like, "This is my Z powered up form," and does the Z move.
That was-
dance,
This is
and runs to the
that
thing.
is not cute. That was
That
so
is so
cringeworthy.
cute.
It was no fuck off.
I thought it was
Fuck off.
cute.
They had an opportunity to make that fantastic. Just make her don't do the dance. That's it. That's it. That's
The fact
all
that
they
she
have
has to
done
like move her hands around to do a Z powered stance and Normalium form. What the?
It was cute.
You can go fuck yourself.
If you like dudes.
Cute.
No, it was not cute. It was too cringeworthy. They tried.
I
to,
mean,
God,
if somebody in real life,
They
did that,
made
I'd
the
be like,
story.
What the fuck are you doing?
they made the story rather well. They actually made the story pretty dark with the fact that the mom just turns into the twisted bitch that she is. But other than that,
Coolest person in Pokemon for sure.
yes. But other than hey look, we
Oh,
found the cat.
Patty found a cat. Wow, that was fast. Aww.
Speaking of Littens, speaking of lit cats,
So how about that fight last night?
Oh yeah, we're basically a day after the McGregor
topic
Mayweather
change.
fight.
If anybody thought that fight was going to be anything other than 8 rounds of McGregor getting tired and then eventually losing, they were fucking deluding.
Isn't that how he always fights? That's
But
just
see,
how
that's
he
the whole-
fights.
That's the whole thing. Is that I honestly thought McGregor did a really decent job in the fight. He trained very, very well. To go 10 rounds, I think, is massive, and I think UFC just earned a ton of respect in regards to their fighters versus traditional boxers.
But still, that
was kinda
Mayweather didn't have to be a douche. Like, he doesn't have to be a douche about his whole.
Well, okay. In all reality, I loved that ESPN post-fight, the post-fight interview that McGregor had, where he said, "Okay, Mayweather won. He owned up to it. He owned up to the fact that he had a lot more time to rest in the octagon as compared to when he's in a boxing ring." Okay. He also talked about the recovery time and how to train is so different. If you looked at the fight, I'm pretty sure like the first 5 minutes, McGregor already did an MMA fight by hitting him on the top of the head with a boxing glove. So we're like, oh, oops. So, I mean, I have a lot of respect for the fight. I knew that McGregor was going to lose. I wanted McGregor to do well. I think this is the best compromise that I could get.
Wasn't the fight really just to get Mayweather to a 0-50?
Pretty much.
It was 50-0.
Yeah.
That was. The other thing too was that was the big argument: is are UFC fighters just as good as traditional boxers? And it's a different.
different.
Well, what happened to the rugby athlete that played with the San Francisco 49ers? Okay, he left after a year. It's a different athleticism. It's a different physical requirement, and yet rugby and football, from an outside perspective, look very similar. They're just two different sports. Boxing and UFC, I consider that. They're two different sports.
Dude, being in a scrum is one of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Really?
I'm tiny. I'm
Yeah.
a tiny guy.
Oh, yeah.
So accidentally,
What's a scrum?
Oh, yeah.
it's when everybody playing rugby, they all lock, and you just kind of struggle with each other.
It's one of the scariest things if you're caught in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Especially when the hand is on your butt as momentum.
Oh yeah.
Isn't rugby like one of the most violent sports in the
No,
existence?
rugby.
I feel
Rugby.
Like hockey would.
Hockey's also a close contender.
People say that the difference between rugby and football is a gentleman's sport played by assholes, and rugby is an asshole sport played by gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's like that's how it is. The actual physical sport of rugby is terrifying. It's super violent, but the people playing it have such high respect for each other. It's totally the opposite with football.
It's so nice to see it. I actually prefer watching rugby on certain days rather than football. Just because of the politics related to football these days.
And then there's soccer.
No.
I think you
This
mean
is
football.
a non-soccer podcast.
Bobby Boucher, you
Football.
out there
I
playing
do
that
not
foosball?
endorse soccer.
Are you out there playing that foosball?
I don't like any sports, just to say.
But
I don't like any sports.
I
What about
enjoy them
esports?
sometimes. When there's a big game
Not
on, I'll
even
watch it.
esports.
I enjoy pure
I like Let's Plays.
athleticism. Except soccer.
I play bass.
I like
Zach plays bass.
Boom, 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 boom,
Baseball.
boom,
Man, my Oakland A's didn't do well this year.
You know, I can understand people not liking baseball, but it's a good sport to just
I
kinda
think it's
have
fun
on.
to
Watch
just
it live.
watch, like in person.
I mean,
Watch it
it's like a
live.
radio sport. It's meant
Yeah.
to, it's not meant to watch, and that's why people don't like it. It's
Cody.
It's like boring, but
So you don't like soccer?
I hate soccer.
But what about
Wait, hold up.
Andrew? No, that's too late.
the joke's gone? Joke's gone.
The
So-
moment is gone.
Speaking about instruments, all of us in this circle have played music.
Yeah.
Currently,
Yeah?
everybody.
Saxophone player.
I play bass and tuba and guitar.
Okay, there you go.
Everything with a string except for the cello.
Saxophone, clarinets, and drums.
Saxophone and clarinet here. Yeah.
All the things.
Zach plays everything.
Every single one.
Legitimately. Yeah,
He
he
plays
plays
dick really
everything.
Oh yeah, he plays my heartstrings especially well.
Oh.
No, mainly like currently it's a
I know
bass
my
and
heart will
trombone
go
a lot.
on.
But yeah.
Yeah, especially that really, really terrible blues band that we were in.
Oh, we're not gonna talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
After,
talk about-
all right, just to get this out of the way, I played sax. That's what I played. I also played a little bit of bass, but that was like negligible in my whole music career.
Negligible. That was more than a 3-syllable word.
Oh,
How
I'm-
many of those are we gonna have today?
I'm sorry, I'm in a legal program.
The beers are busted out.
Yeah, that's true. The beers have been busted out by half of the room, half the podcasters.
I'm sorry, beer has too many carbs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, speaking of which,
Angry Orchard, if you want a spot.
Hey, sponsor!
Yeah, try their new Wicked
Hashtag
Apple.
ad.
we got a couple
It's
of
wickedly
health people in
delicious.
this group. So
Not clickbait. Gone sexual.
Okay, wait.
what?
I almost died.
Not clickbait.
Have you not heard of those?
Hashtag 2014.
Those are those. That's like what people do. That's what they do to their videos on YouTube. Those be like, gone sexual in parentheses, not clickbait.
Or like a fight or something.
Not clickbait.
Yes.
I actually just saw one,
It's like,
and
I should give up as the title.
I saw one, and it was I got a nose job, not
I
clickbait.
saw that one.
You
yeah.
saw that one?
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
a nose
yeah.
job, not clickbait. I was like, if you have to say not clickbait in your video title, it's
Yeah,
probably clickbait.
But they weren't doing it sarcastically either. Like
They were
people
being
that
serious. Yeah. I like to do it ironically,
Yeah.
with a tongue-in-cheek type of feeling, if you know what I mean.
Really? So, I mean, we could talk about a little bit about our diet, about dieting stuff.
No, I thought we were gonna do like music stuff.
Well, we
Since
could.
Bill-
We could
That was a
go-
nice
we did get
segue
off
over
the
to
topic of
music.
Let's
Yeah,
go into music.
yeah.
Music topic.
Let's go into
Screw
music.
diets.
Well, we were talking about beers. I was gonna say, what kind of beers can we all drink? But
And,
didn't like.
oh, wait, I
Like
already
Rolling Rock. That's about it.
Yeah, Bud Light.
what? The GoPro?
The guitar.
Oh, the guitar.
Oh.
Jer Bear.
The guitar.
And guitar.
Oh, I'm gonna play a snow.
No.
Anyways, here's Wonderwall.
No, please do not. Not allowed to play that at all.
Alright, now Shadrack's going to serenade us.
No, God.
Is it way out of tune?
Ladle.
Ooh. Harmonics. Well, what's interesting is a lot of us here have our own. And actually, we all have a pretty similar interest with the same amount of music. A majority of us here are all
Dun dun dun.
metal, punk rock,
Oh yeah.
jazz heads. Chill it, you're shaking my TV.
Oh, that drop D dope. Oh shit.
Actually, Shadrack and I are gonna try the jam here soon.
Oh, there we go.
Preston said he's down, by the way. Whenever.
Oh, sick.
Whenever.
Okay.
Cool.
That's what we were talking about on the way to Medford, actually.
What are you gonna play?
Well, I mean,
He's gonna.
I don't know.
Rhythm guitar.
Oh yeah,
Clarinet.
he's gonna teach me rhythm guitar, and then
Concert
Yeah,
bass,
add bass
clarinet.
clarinet to it.
And then I'm gonna do,
guitar and drums. That's all you need.
so Shad's gonna teach me rhythm guitar, and then I'm gonna do vocals,
It's like the
or
turbo. of
the scream
guitars.
vocals, essentially.
I play bass.
If we fit it in.
I play six
Yes, you do play bass.
a lot of bass.
You
We
do
need a
play a
new
lot.
topic.
Are you saying you want to play with us?
No,
Yes.
Would
Maybe.
you like to?
I mean
Cody's lame.
maybe.
I would love to play bass.
What are we gonna play?
Cody's not so lame.
Shut the hell up, Anthony. We need to work on it.
So, what is everybody's favorite video game?
Oh.
Because that's what
Dark Souls.
Sorry,
Dark
I was
Souls.
dying.
Yeah, you got.
No,
you got-
I said video game, not series.
Oh.
Dark Souls 1.
Bloodborne.
Dark Souls 1? Bloodborne.
You know, I might be the
Specifically
weirdo.
a video game.
The
Digimon
Elder
World
Scrolls 3
2.
Morrowind. Give it the year edition.
Elder Scrolls
You know,
3?
if
It's a good
if
one.
we're gonna just open this up, I had a lot of fun with Age of Empires 2.
Oh
and
yeah.
Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Ah,
dude.
back
Those
in
are
the
just
day.
Very nostalgic. Those were my like
Yeah.
getting into gaming.
New
young
topic.
days.
Tycoon games.
Yes.
Come on, man. Like,
Oh my god.
an era that does not exist anymore.
Nope.
Captured the imagination of millions of us and just doesn't exist.
Why is
Motherfucking
why did it
Jurassic
die?
Park.
Did it just
It
flood the
died
market?
in- I feel
The
like
Jurassic Park
games were
Tycoon
changed.
builder
I feel
was
like
amazing.
Yes.
It was like one of the
Tycoon
best
games. Are too
games.
open to have unlimited fun, and it doesn't fit the current like meta of
Well,
pay
yeah.
to play games.
See,
We
like,
saw-
That's what I want to play
Microtransactions.
all the time.
Have you know?
Yeah, a current Tycoon game, you would have to buy every single roller coaster. Like it'd be 99 cents, and then you could build it.
There
They
actually
totally
is.
do freemiums,
There is.
yeah.
Yeah, there is. Roller Coaster Tycoon, actually.
Is it
Roller Coaster
deluxe?
Tycoon on the mobile.
Whoa.
is a microtransaction laden hell.
Oh
That's fucked
no!
up.
So is it exactly what I just said?
It is exactly what you
can
just
buy
said.
Disneyland
Yeah.
for $200.
But- See,
is
that's
why
the thing,
Tycoon
though.
games aren't a thing anymore.
There actually is a new Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's not Roller Coaster Tycoon. So the people who made the first Roller Coaster Tycoons and Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 split off from their own company. So Roller Coaster Tycoon, as it is a series right now, is just it's just the name. That's all it is. The actual people who worked on them moved over to another game. It's called Planet Coaster, which is essentially covers all of like the nostalgic feeling of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Interesting.
So if you want to check out a game that's actually Roller Coaster Tycoon, play Planet Coaster, not Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Got it.
Just so you know.
I think what's interesting that like because I remember growing up, I see a lot of the Tycoon games, but you see like I remember you go into like Target or you go into like you always go into those stores where you always see like the gigantic freaking 2-inch thick cases for just like the one CD that you put in your computer in order to play like a Tycoon game. And nowadays it's just like you hop on Steam. Any of that era, any of that is just gone.
It's very strange. Like I haven't bought a physical game in a disc. Well, I guess a disc, but the last physical game I bought was Breath of the Wild. I haven't bought a physical copy of a game since then.
I want your guys' opinion on something.
I will get it.
Boy.
What are your guys' opinion on the fact that there will never be a Half-Life 3 officially?
I know.
I never played
saw
any of them,
that
so
on
I
the
don't
note.
care.
Really? That was
Yeah.
announced?
The
They
guy
never
posted-
said no Half-Life 3.
Oh,
They
no,
just-
no. Yes, they did.
They did
Oh,
not
yeah, they
claim
All
no
of the
Half-Life 3.
creative team said we don't want to do it.
They said we don't want to do it, but they never said it's
Well,
never going to
the
happen.
Three
fact
of the
that-
lead creators are gone.
The fact that the writer made a manifesto of Half-Life 3 and how it ended and all that, it's dead.
We're not getting it.
It's dead for now, but
We're not
we
getting
got
We're not
the
getting it.
we
They
got
told us
But
they-
that's
We
the
might-
got
question.
the story.
we might
Would
get a
you
source.
want it
Taking
at
the
this
mic
point? Because
away.
there would be no love behind it.
I would still
It
play
would be mechanical.
I would
Question:
still play.
Would you play a like a huge game company, maybe a small group of people,
Like an
indie? Yeah, there you go. That's a
Oops,
word.
excuse
Buzzword of the night: indie games.
indie games.
Making a source code, like a source game that is Half-Life 3 made in source, how they wanted it to be. Would you wait 10 years for that, for instance? You know,
I mean, yeah,
But you'd
I'd
be
wait.
over it
I
by
mean,
then.
I'd play
At
it.
that point,
That's the thing,
At that
though.
point, you would be like, "Oh, that actually came out. I'll check it out for 2 seconds."
so here's the thing: is like Reddit. Okay, I'm assuming this is the internet. Everybody knows what Reddit is.
Yes.
What's that?
What is Reddit?
I'm familiar with 4chan.
Can I
Shut
get a
the
Reddit?
fuck up.
May I have one Reddit, please?
I like 9gag.
Okay,
Alright, sorry, this is over now. This is
okay.
done.
So Reddit
Oh,
has
looks
a
like we're out of time.
Almost.
Reddit has a bot that whenever you mention Half-Life 3 in Reddit, it responds to your comment saying, "Oh, you've now delayed Half-Life 3's release by another 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been disabled."
Oh no.
That's so sad.
That's like the level of doneness we are with this. So if we're ever getting it, it won't be from
Do you think
Valve. I
they'll
don't
do
think.
a remake? With how much time has passed between 1 and 2? Do you think they're gonna make a remake to combine the first two? And kind of
They already did.
They already did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a remake.
No,
It's
if I'm not mistaken,
Well,
it's
like,
just
yeah, but
if
like,
I'm not mistaken, I haven't played the series, but they did what? It was Half-Life 1, 2, and 2.5.
1, 2,
episode
episode
1,
1, 2, and technically 3, but it's not playable.
Yeah.
That's
You
interesting.
can't play it. It's just
it's like the KOTOR
What-
2 where
what
that
company was
one
that made
mission
under?
is not available.
Valve.
Okay, so the same people that did Portal, right?
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Valve has Steam. They don't need to make a game ever again.
They also
Ever
have
again.
all of those microtransaction games,
Exactly.
so it's
Oh,
not like they'll
and
ever
the
need
trading
to do that
cards and the
Yeah.
freaking currency.
What is it? What is it? Counter Strike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's just-
CS:GO.
Yeah, you can make so much money. They make so much money off of that anyway that it's just pointless to make new stuff.
I watched my friend Jeremy spend $700 on loot boxes to get a single knife in that
Jesus
fucking game.
Criminy.
How many
You
times
know,
did you
there's a
stab
lot
him?
of there's a lot of people that I know that did a lot of microtransactions for Payday 2.
That I never understood that because that game is just like if you want to sniff bad butthole, just
Or
go play
open
that
a
game.
I was
door.
gonna say
Like,
eat hot garbage.
Yeah,
Only
exactly.
game
I've ever bought loot boxes on is Overwatch. 'Cause
Agreed.
I'm fucking addicted to that game.
Microtransactions in games are one of the things that kind of, I don't know, really turn me off from them.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason right now, we have a friend group in another area right now that is super balls fucking deep in the Final Fantasy Exodus that's on the mobile.
Yeah,
so
that's
even
right.
although mobiles are very like
But
the microtransactions, but Jesus Christ, I don't know how you can dump so much money into it.
Andrew,
I have a
Magic
friend that I
is
work
a
with.
microtransaction.
No.
In hell.
Oh,
It is not.
Yes,
You
it
leave
is.
that out.
All right.
Oh, you leave that out.
So
Hold on. Time
This is
out,
different.
That's what trading card games are. They're microtransactions.
so
And he has an addiction.
Not exactly.
So here's-
I agree.
Wait.
here's the thing.
We're gonna have to.
We have to talk about this. We have to talk about this. So there's a difference between a CCG, a TCG, and an LCG. Living card games, collectible card games, and trading card games. Magic the Gathering is simultaneously a collectible card game and a trading card game. Now, I have an addiction to Magic the Gathering. Andrew, would you like to say that you have an addiction to Magic the
Admit
Gathering?
it.
Hi, my name is Andrew, and I have an addiction to Magic the
Fucking nerds.
But
Did it? He admitted it.
But here's the thing. It's only microtransactions if you buy packs. Now, I don't anymore. Ever.
The issue is with buying packs, it is gambling at its finest. You're opening a pack, 15
loot
cards,
boxes.
trying to find one specific
It's
thing.
loot boxes.
But however,
They can't acknowledge that it's gambling, otherwise then it changes. They can't acknowledge the secondary market, the price of cards. They can't say, oh, this card has, this card is $20 or this card is $50. They have to say this card is worth 1/15 of a pack. That's what they have to say. And if they don't, then I guarantee the game would die in under a year. Under a year.
but because you have the ability with Magic in order to buy specific cards at a specific price, you don't have to continue the microtransaction at that point. The microtransaction kind of falls, in opinion, under the packs. And if you know what you're looking for, if you know what you're trying to get, if you're trying to go to that, you're just going to buy it.
But it's still exactly the same
is
because the
a
in-game
microtransaction.
currency that you wouldn't have to buy a pack. You get in-game currency.
And that's the difference
in-game
between-
currency is just cash.
And
It's
that's
just
the
normal
difference
money.
between a living card game and the other two. A living card game, you just get it all instantly. You just get one of everything, and that's how it goes.
On a side note, how expensive are each of your collections?
All right, so Andrew, I actually did the math on some of this stuff. The total
go.
of our two collections
Insert drum roll, please.
is just under $60,000.
Oh,
Between you two?
Yes.
Yes.
Holy fucking Christ.
So
You know how good of a
$30,000
computer you could
each.
buy for $60,000?
Yeah, you know how many houses you could buy?
Well,
Collective.
it's not 30 each.
No. It's
There's
no.
a-
At least
there's
you
He
get
has,
down
a lot,
payment.
he has a lot more, for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
He has a lot more.
So
So it's more shit on you.
could buy a
then.
shitty
Yeah.
house.
I have a lot of individual, like, some very specific cards that are worth a lot, but, Magic costs a lot of money.
I mean, if
Okay.
you wanted to get $60,000, like that's only worth what someone's willing to pay for.
Yeah,
How hard would it be
Exactly.
to actually
If we
sell
wanted
that?
to sell out everything we have right now, we could probably
20?
walk away with about 30.
You think so? Yeah, probably. We know Ian, yeah.
We know people,
But that's
like,
just if you had to buy it right now. And you
Right
just wanted
now,
to buy
yes.
the cards.
Yes.
From like the lowest price.
A
on
vendor
eBay then.
could buy our two collections totally for 30 grand and walk away happy.
that's just how it goes.
That's magic.
So that's 30
Holy
grand
shit.
gone.
Gone.
So much money.
Now,
What would you have done with that 30
But-
grand?
But
I wouldn't
however,
have
the
it.
thing is, it may be 60 right now. Another few months from now, it could be 50. The thing is, the price market, like I was saying to you guys earlier, when I gave the example, we had a friend that bought 50-cent cards. 1 month later, 50 cards were both worth $10 each. The thing is, the price market is always continuing fluctuating. So who knows what it could really wind up at any point in time. But I mean, as far as it goes, with the amount that we keep playing into it, we're probably not going to sell it.
Yeah, I was
anytime
just gonna
soon.
say, even though they might go up in value, that you might not want to sell them because
No.
it's so valuable.
and
Not at all.
another problem that specifically Magic the Gathering, and I don't think any other card game has this, is there's something called the reserved list. There are cards that Wizards of the Coast will never print again while the reserved list is in effect. They'll never print them ever again. And those cards are astronomically expensive. Like, for instance, there's a binder right over there that in 20 cards is over $4 grand.
If they do it competitively, why
So
would
the
they want
address
to
is
make certain cards so rare?
So-
Like, why would they want certain cards
could
that
you
are
point that out
playable
one
in
more
tournaments unaccessible?
So
Wouldn't that reduce the level of competition?
no, so here's the thing is competitively, realistically, if you're going to compete at anything, money doesn't matter, right? Like if you're going to compete at the highest level of something, it doesn't matter if you like look at professional cyclists. You know, some bikes cost upwards of 40, 50 grand, for some incredibly expensive lightweight bikes.
An example, my bike costs
Well, I'm sure,
$6,000.
Exactly. There you go. So
Damn.
if you're competing at the highest level, every possible thing that you can eke out against someone else is something that the money doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you care about competing at the highest level. With Magic, it's the same because Wizards can't acknowledge that the cards do have a price. They can put cards that are common rarity or uncommon rarity, rare rarity or mythic rarity. They can do that because they don't have a value. Air quotes, everybody.
I'm gonna say, wouldn't there be certain cards that would give you an advantage in general competitive play?
But
if you're
they
building some type of deck.
Right, but they limit to what play you can have those in. So, for example, you can play a card that is really good or really powerful, but however, it's limited to a certain format that you can only play it in. So the thing is, that's the reason why there's these multiple formats. You have Standard, Modern, Legacy, Commander, Eternal, like there are just all these different things that it's like I couldn't play this most astronomical card in Standard. They restrict it to what you can only play it in, so that way the playing level is fair to what you do. But then they also ban cards too, because if a card becomes too powerful, becomes too astronomical, where they look at the statistics and they go, well, this deck took 6 of the top 8 spots, and because each deck was playing this one card, we need to keep watching this, and we maybe need to ban it.
It's a little bit.
I guess that makes sense because any competitive game, you're always going to have new things that come out and be like, wait, we need to nerf that.
Yeah.
But then
Wait, we need
if
to
For
buff
example,
that.
the Mega Gengarite.
Yeah.
It became so powerful that they
Nerf.
needed to ban it out of the competition.
If they're gonna ban certain cards, though, and if that card was one of those rare cards that everyone valued,
And was
then
really
it would
expensive.
it just completely fall out?
Yes, and that's the problem is that they have to still ban those really expensive cards because if they don't, then it's a clear acknowledgement that they're worth something.
Pay to win.
Exactly.
But then the other issue is sometimes you have cards that get newly printed that people look at and it somehow gets banned and they go, well, why did they make that in the first place? And it's because sometimes they didn't test the power level. They recently put a infinite combo deck in Standard that everybody was super pissed off at. We're talking at the
highest level of play.
Highest level of plays, it was showing up at 50, almost 50%. Statistically, it was showing up 50% of the tournament. At a Pro Tour level, there is a time it was called the Eldrazi Winter. That deck ran 46% of the Pro Tour meta. They banned everything so fucking quickly. And they stopped streaming Modern on the Pro Tour because they were like, yeah, we didn't really change up much on that. This is kind of awkward. So, but it looks like that's about all the time we got right now.
Yeah, that's about all the time we got.
Wrap
We got
it
hit.
up.
All right, this is
Beachmob
Beachmob Goes Podcast.
Yeah.
signing off.
All right.
Bye,
well,
guys.
Bye. We'll catch you on another day.
Bye.